how do you address the common misconceptions that plant-based diets are inherently low in protein? And what are your go-to sources of protein in a whole food plant-based diet?
Well, inherently is the key there. Like that. So saying it's inherently lower in protein means that you can't match protein, and that's simply untrue. So I'll rattle off a few examples. If you replace eggs with tofu and eat the same amount of calories, you get more protein. If you replace most dairy milks, with the exception of skim, with a soy milk, you increase your protein intake. If you replace regular cuts of like 80% lean beef with tofu, again, about similar protein. If you swap that out for TVP, which is like soy protein with much of the fat removed, or with seitan, which is a wheat-based protein, you can actually increase your protein. So there are protein sources that could match or even exceed the animal-based options. It's just a matter of maybe a little bit of education. Not that everybody needs to obsess over it either, to be clear, but to say it's inherently lower in protein is just simply untrue.
And I think it's important to recognize that the average person eating a plant-based diet is getting about 12 to 15% of calories from protein. Total protein intakes tend to range from around 60 to 90 grams. The RDA is 46 for women, 56 for men. So, we do consume a little less than omnivores, but we generally exceed the recommended intakes. It doesn't mean that protein's never an issue, because sometimes it is, especially in older vegans who are eating small portions, the tea and toast kind of diets. They need more protein because they're not absorbing it as well. And so sometimes they do fall short. But that doesn't mean they can't get enough if they make a few little tweaks with their diet. They need, as we grow older, I know for myself that I'm focusing a little more on beans and lentils and tofu and tempeh and those kinds of foods, and a little less on grains and starchy vegetables to keep, where I need to be in terms of protein and caloric intake. And I make my own tempeh at home. It's an easy thing to do, but generally the legumes, tofu, tempeh, edamame, these are really wonderful sources. And of course, seeds are an underappreciated source of protein as well, like hemp seeds and pumpkin seeds especially. So those are just a few other thoughts.
Right. When you add, legumes and green vegetables and nuts and seeds in the meal, you shoot up the protein and the phytochemicals and the absorption. But keep in mind that out of the 5 categories of plant fruits, vegetables, beans, nuts and seeds, and intact whole grains, fruit has the lowest protein. So we don't recommend people eat a fruitarian diet where they get the majority of calories from fruit, especially as we get older. That's only the way people can have their protein be marginally low by overeating fruit. Not that fruit isn't a good food. And the other thing is using oil on their food. Because if you look about it, if you put the average American consumes 500 calories of oil or a couple of tablespoons of oil, which is just the fat without any protein. If you took those same calories and replaced nuts and seeds to replace the oil, you would then add 10 or 15 grams of protein into the diet. So the more oil you use on your food, the more you're using fat with no protein that accompanies it. So that's a way that people dilute the protein. So it's sugar and salt, it's sugar and oil that really cut the protein down. Putting those empty calories that really cut the protein of your diet down.
Yeah, well said. Find an artistic way to get more legumes into your diet: bean burritos, bean chilies, lentil stews, hummus sandwiches. It's a vast, wonderful, flavorful, toothsome family of foods there. So at least once a day, have a good leguminous entree in one of your meals there. But find a way to sprinkle them. You can put chickpeas on your salad. Lots of ways to get protein into your diet. So yay for the legumes.